Well, thanks for visiting us this morning at KTALnews.com, as well as your Arklatex Weather Authority app. I'm meteorologist Josh Marces, and this is your Thursday morning forecast update. Once again, a busy weather update for you to start the day here as we continue to see that winter weather advisory in effect for much of Texas, as well as Arkansas. In the purple area there is where we could see some freezing rain and sleet accumulations today, up to about 1/10 of an inch. And then we have a winter storm warning. That's the area in pink that you see for Red River, as well as McCurtain counties. It's also until 6 p.m. Those would be the locations where we could see about 1/4 inch of ice today, which would absolutely cripple some of the roadway travel in those locations. So again, as you hit the bridges and overpasses this morning, just urge everybody, if you know there is some freezing rain around, just to stay off the roadways. But if you have to be out there, of course, just kind of take it slow when you're on some of those elevated roadways. But a look at what's happening this morning. We have a ton of just spray out there, just some mist as well as some drizzle in the Shreveport area. And temperatures will be very critical again today, as most of us are starting out the morning in the mid-30s. So if we do drop a few more degrees in Shreveport, I can't even rule out maybe some sleet falling in the Shreveport area as well. But a look at pinpoint Doppler. Again, the sleet, the mist doesn't really get picked up too well on radar, since the shallow air mass, the cold air, is very close to the ground. So the radar shooting over top of that in a lot of areas. But it is showing our next push of what will be some steadier rain beginning to make its way in across East Texas. And this will be the band of precipitation that likely impacts the advisory area as we continue through the morning as well as the afternoon. There's a lot going on today. It's just it's a difficult weather forecast for us. We know this stationary front that's down here, again, the warm air going over the front and hitting the cold air, that's what's producing the precipitation here. But we know this front's going to work its way back north as a warm front today. So where those temperatures start to warm up, a bit of a question mark. But you can see right now we're in the mid-30s in Shreveport, Minden, Marshall. So even those areas that aren't in the advisory, I can't fully guarantee that we won't see some freezing rain and maybe just a thin glaze of ice in some areas here. But the most impactful weather obviously will be here in the warning and advisory area. We're down to 32 in Idabel, so again, ice and sleet would likely start accumulating there if it does continue to fall. And your high temperatures today, again, what will happen early this afternoon with that front coming back into the Arklatex, most of us in the upper 40s and low 50s south of I-20, so we can pretty much rule out the threat of any freezing weather in the I-20 corridor as we hit the late morning and early afternoon. And gradually should see these temperatures in the northern Arklatex get back above freezing as well. So at that point, the freezing rain threat will end, but we very well could continue to see some pockets of sleet in there, I think, through the afternoon and evening. So look at your Robin's Hood Futurecast, similar to yesterday. We'll get that push of what may be some frozen precipitation this morning. And notice how the intensity of this kind of ramps up late this morning and early this afternoon. So I think if we see any significant impacts as far as quick accumulations, it would be kind of mid to late morning here in the I-30 corridor. But notice as that air begins to warm up a bit, call it warm up, but as temperatures begin to rise above freezing, we'll see that change over back into just liquid rain in most areas. So that's why that advisory will be allowed to expire at 6 p.m. Also, notice the rainfall moving out of here later this evening. So we'll likely see a mostly cloudy and dry night tonight, but a very cold night. We'll be down to 22 in Idabel. Temperatures to 28 in Texarkana tonight and 33 in Shreveport. So if we do see any freezing rain out there, it's not likely to melt off very quickly. So we could see some bridge and overpass impacts possibly through tomorrow morning. But tomorrow afternoon, a little sun comes back. Your highs will be in the 40s and 50s. Rain does not stay away for long. Looks like Friday evening we may begin to see some rain pick up here, and that will continue on and off through the day on Saturday. Rain may continue into Saturday night. Still looks like we could see maybe another round or two of some freezing rain along and north of I-30 with this next disturbance. So that would be Friday night, Saturday morning. Of course, we'll have more on that for you later today as well as tomorrow, but we're just kind of focusing on the threat for that frozen precipitation this morning. But do know there's a window for that to occur this weekend as well. Begin to see things dry out on Sunday. Next week looking great. We should have highs in the 60s and eventually into the 70s next Wednesday through Friday.